Dear Chosen One, heaven is roaring tonight. What was spoken against you in secret has reached the throne, and the divine response is unstoppable. The world has no idea what it triggered when it mocked, accused, and tried to erase your name from this earth. There is an anger rising in the spirit that shakes foundations. Yet it's not vengeance for the sake of destruction. This is the anger of a father who rises to defend, to correct, to restore. Every injustice you swallowed did not go unseen. And tonight, borders will be redrawn and destinies shifted for your sake. You have felt abandoned, pressed, even betrayed by those you once called friends, and the silence of God seemed unbearable, a weight you could barely endure. You thought the heavens were closed. You wept alone, misunderstood, as the world conspired to bury your calling. But listen, what you perceived as absence was strategy. The silence was a gathering of holy fire, a preparation for a move that will silence your accusers and expose the true source of every attack. In this divine anger, God is revealing Himself as your advocate. Prepare for the reversal, for the shift that only happens when heaven disrupts earth's designs. The tears you've sown, the shame you've carried, and the dreams they've mocked were not the final word over your life. Tonight, God's anger is not working against you. It is your shield, your breakthrough, your public vindication. This is not punishment for your wounds. It is restoration for your faith. The confrontation you endured was the fertilizer for the miracle about to manifest. Before we go deeper into this revelation, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop the word justified in the comments to seal this moment and declare to the universe that your victory is public and irreversible. And if you're ready to step into the prosperity set aside for you, both spiritually and financially, check out the ebook, The Call to Prosperity. In it, you'll find 10 biblical and practical steps to activate the abundance waiting for you. The link is in the description and in the first comment. You have carried wounds that no one but God could see. When you felt unseen, you didn't realize you were being hidden as a treasure, not discarded as a burden. Every moment you endured in silence became holy ground for heaven's intervention. The world's rejection has only qualified you for a power no human hand can control. Tonight, that power is moving, and your history of silent suffering is being rewritten by the author of justice. They labeled you with words meant to chain you: unworthy, incapable, forgotten. But the Spirit is tearing those labels, burning them before the court of eternity. When God's anger blazes, it targets the lies that have held you down, uprooting every seed of self-doubt they planted in your soul. What was designed to break you will now be used as proof that you could not be broken. Your pain becomes your prophecy. Chosen One, be ready for divine exposure. Hidden truths are being illuminated, and secrets meant to destroy you are being unmasked in the glare of God's advocacy. Your past accusers will have to testify, not against you, but for you, because God is not just defending your name, He is exalting it. Stand tall as your silent tears become public declarations of victory. Heaven turns evidence against your enemies into proof of your destiny. This is not the moment to bow your head. The darkness you've faced is a prelude to the rising of your morning. When spiritual warfare intensifies, it's because promotion is at hand. God's anger is the wind behind your back, pushing you forward with supernatural force. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a witness to what happens when heaven gets involved. Do not underestimate the silence of God. In Scripture, silence often precedes the greatest miracles. When Jesus waited before calling Lazarus from the tomb, it was not indifference. It was setup. Likewise, your prayers that seemed unanswered were, in fact, positioned for a resurrection event. Betrayal and delay were allowed so your story would end in undeniable glory, not mere survival. Tonight, new spiritual laws are being written in your favor. What was denied will be returned, not in the same measure but pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. The years stolen from you, lost opportunities, wasted trust, are being reclaimed in a single act of divine intervention. Divine anger is restoring what manipulation and slander tried to kill. You are walking into a battle already won. The accusations against you are being nullified by the ultimate judge, and every curse sent your way is returning empty. God is not punishing those who wronged you to satisfy your hurt, but to display His justice. Miracles manifest not out of pity, but out of covenant, a promise that He will never leave His chosen humiliated or defeated. When the world expects your fall, get ready to rise. God's holy anger is a weapon turned against the spirit of defeat, and tonight it is swinging in your defense. You are shielded not by luck, but by law, spiritual law that decrees you cannot remain in the pit. Expect restoration where there was loss, honor where there was shame. This process is uncomfortable. Growth always is. When God steps in as your avenger, He may remove people you wanted to keep, tear down structures you depended on, and call you into spaces you feel unworthy to enter. Let it happen. Tonight is not about comfort, but breakthrough. Find courage in chaos. Find destiny in disruption. The noise of the crowd is being drowned out by a louder voice. The voice that called you before you were formed in the womb. This is the God who appointed you to nations, who sanctified your pain as fuel for purpose. What looks like anger is actually precise love. Love that refuses to let you settle for less than the extraordinary. Receive it. Awaken the sleeping greatness within. Ancient cycles are breaking. Family patterns that plagued generations end here. God's anger against every generational curse ensures what bound your ancestors will no longer hold you prisoner. Each midnight tear has summoned a dawn. The chains forged in hidden places are snapping by the fire of divine fury. You may question, why now? The answer is simple. Prophecy has a timetable, and your season of exposure is today. Delays were not denials, only divine pauses. Now, acceleration is here. Every minute that felt wasted is being redeemed in a flood of favor. The anger of God is not chaotic. It is surgical, targeting what needs to be removed and releasing what must be received. Tonight, walk with boldness into the unknown. Angels are reconfiguring your path, shifting obstacles that looked immovable and unlocking doors long rusted shut. The heavens are declaring, your visitation is at hand, and nothing can hinder it. What you thought would crush you is parting before you, step after step. Forgive those who wounded you, but never forget what God is showing you now. The lesson in this moment is that your worth is not up for debate. Divine anger is not a punishment, but a proclamation, a statement that your purpose is untouchable, your calling unshakable, your journey unstoppable. Your breakthrough is not theoretical, it is imminent. The prayers you whispered in the dark are being answered in ways you never imagined, not according to your limited vision, but according to God's infinite strategy. His anger against your oppressors is the evidence of His covenant with you, unbreakable and eternal. What seems like delay is only divine positioning, setting the stage so the world cannot deny your exaltation. The miracle you've been waiting for is no longer distant. It is forming in the atmosphere around you, ready to manifest. Trust that tonight, something shifts. Heaven is moving on your behalf in a way that cannot be reversed by any force on earth. The cost of anointing is misunderstanding. Chosen ones are rarely celebrated in the beginning. They are studied, scrutinized, and often slandered before they are honored. You have been walking this lonely road, paying a price others refuse to acknowledge, carrying a weight that crushes the unprepared. But every humiliation etched your name deeper into the book of life. Every betrayal became a testimony waiting to be told. God's anger burns against the injustice done to you because He sees what the world ignores. Your faithfulness in secret, your tears shed without audience, your obedience when no one was watching. And tonight, hidden sacrifices become public victories. Many will witness your elevation and claim they always believed in you, but you will remember who stood by you in the valley. This is not bitterness, it is clarity. God's anger exposes fake alliances and reveals true friendships forged in the furnace of adversity. As you rise, you will carry the wisdom of discernment, knowing who celebrated you in the wilderness and who only appeared when the harvest came. This divine correction realigns your circle, protects your peace, and ensures that the blessing prepared for you is not diluted by those who never valued your journey. Accept the pruning. It is painful but necessary for fruitfulness. There is a shift happening in the spiritual realm that precedes physical change. Dreams are becoming clearer, synchronicities are multiplying, and old doors are closing with finality, while new ones crack open with light streaming through. The anger of God is demolishing spiritual roadblocks erected by witchcraft, jealousy, and ancestral curses that tried to keep you captive. Chosen one, you are being released from invisible chains tonight. Limitations you thought were permanent are dissolving under the authority of the Most High. Feel the breaking. Sense the freedom. Walk into the open space that was once forbidden to you. What was stolen is being restored sevenfold. Understand that divine anger is not chaos. It is order reasserting itself. When the kingdom of darkness overstepped, thinking it could destroy you without consequence, heaven responded with calculated precision. Every weapon formed against you is being turned back upon its sender, not out of cruelty, but out of justice. God does not play games with your destiny. He defends it with holy jealousy. His wrath is the hammer that breaks the systems built to contain you, the fire that purifies every tainted motive, the sword that cuts through spiritual red tape. You are about to see what happens when God says enough on behalf of His chosen vessel. Do not apologize for the favor that is coming. Some will say you don't deserve it, that you haven't earned it, that luck smiled upon you. Let them talk. Your validation does not come from human opinion, but from divine decree. God's anger silences every voice that dared to define you by your past, your failures, or your limitations. He is rewriting your narrative tonight, not with ink, but with power, transforming shame into glory, obscurity into influence, lack into overflow. Stand firm in your identity as chosen, knowing that what is about to happen will shock even you, because it is beyond your ability to orchestrate or manipulate. The enemy's greatest weapon was always doubt, the whisper that maybe you misheard God, maybe you're not who you thought you were, maybe you should settle for less. But God's anger dissolves that fog of confusion. Clarity is coming, sharp and undeniable, confirming every prophetic word spoken over you, every dream that seemed too big, every calling you almost abandoned. Tonight, Heaven affirms what hell tried to deny. You are anointed, appointed, and unstoppable. Let faith rise as fear falls. Let boldness replace hesitation. The time for questioning is over. Now is the hour of action. Some battles are not yours to fight. God has taken certain enemies out of your hands and placed them directly in His, promising that vengeance belongs to Him alone. This is your season to rest in His ability, to watch from a place of peace as He moves on your behalf. Divine anger is the warrior you didn't know you had, fighting in realms you cannot see, dismantling plots you were never aware of. All you need to do is stay faithful, keep worshiping, and refuse to retaliate in the flesh. Your stillness is strength. Your silence is strategy. Let God fight while you stand and see the salvation prepared for you. The wilderness was never meant to be your home. It was your training ground. Every test you passed, every temptation you resisted, every moment you chose faith over fear has equipped you for the promise. God's anger is directed at anything trying to keep you in the desert when the land of milk and honey awaits. Tonight, borders are shifting, and you are crossing over into abundance, influence, and fulfillment. Do not look back with longing at what you endured. Look forward with expectation at what you are inheriting. The best chapters of your life are ahead, written by the hand of a God who keeps His promises. Doubt tried to tell you that your pain was pointless, but God is about to turn it into purpose. Every tear you cried will water the seeds of someone else's breakthrough. Every wound you carry will become a testimony that heals the brokenhearted. Your story is not one of defeat. It is a narrative of divine intervention, supernatural turnaround, and the faithfulness of a God who never forgets His own. The anger of heaven against your suffering is transforming it into a weapon of hope for a generation desperate to believe again. You are not just surviving. You are becoming a beacon. Get ready for new assignments that match your new level. God does not waste the process. He uses it to prepare you for greater responsibility, wider influence, deeper impact. The anointing on your life is increasing, and with it comes a shift in your calling. You will no longer operate in spaces too small for your spirit. You will be thrust into arenas where your voice carries weight, your presence shifts atmospheres, and your obedience unlocks destinies. Do not shrink back in false humility. Step forward with holy confidence, knowing that if God is calling you higher, He has already equipped you for the climb. There is a sound in the Spirit, a roar of awakening that is calling chosen ones out of hiding and into their places of authority. You are not alone in this journey. An army is rising, marked by the same scars, carrying the same fire, marching toward the same destiny. God's anger is uniting His remnant, breaking down walls of isolation and bringing divine connections that will accelerate your purpose. Watch for the alliances heaven is orchestrating, the mentors, the partners, the friends who see you clearly and sharpen you intentionally. Your network is shifting because your mission is expanding. Forgiveness is not optional, it is essential. Bitterness will poison the blessing God is trying to pour into your life. Release those who wounded you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. God's anger against your oppressors does not require your participation in revenge. It requires your participation in healing. Let go of the weight of offense, the burden of grudges, the exhaustion of keeping score. When you forgive, you unlock a flow of grace that has been dammed up by resentment. Choose peace over pain, mercy over malice. Walk lighter into your future, unshackled by the past. Tonight, something supernatural is being released over your life. A grace that defies logic, a favor that bypasses protocol, a breakthrough that shatters timelines. You are entering a season where things happen suddenly, where delays are erased in a moment, where impossibilities bow before the word of the Lord. Do not try to understand it all. Simply receive it with gratitude and steward it with wisdom. God's anger has cleared the path, removed the obstacles, and opened the floodgates. All that remains is for you to step into the flow and let the current of divine purpose carry you forward. You are standing at the edge of your greatest testimony. The story God is writing through your life will be told for generations, not because it was easy, but because it was impossible without Him. Every setback you faced was a setup for a comeback so dramatic that even skeptics will have to acknowledge the hand of God. Divine anger is the fuel behind this reversal, ensuring that what the enemy meant for evil is transformed into undeniable good. Your mess is becoming your message, your test is becoming your testimony, and your pain is becoming your platform. Do not waste this moment by doubting its significance. Embrace it, knowing that heaven has orchestrated every detail for maximum impact and eternal glory. The world operates on merit, but the kingdom operates on grace. You may not feel qualified for what is coming, but that is precisely the point. God uses the foolish things to confound the wise, the weak things to shame the strong. His anger against the spirit of disqualification is fierce, tearing down every mental barrier that says, "You are not enough." Tonight, receive the truth. You are not chosen because you are perfect, but because you are faithful. Your willingness to keep going when everything screamed quit has made you a candidate for miracles. Let that settle in your spirit. God sees your heart, not just your resume, and He is about to promote you beyond your wildest imagination. There is a difference between worldly success and kingdom assignment. Success can be bought, manipulated, or faked, but assignment is divinely ordained and eternally significant. God's anger burns against every counterfeit offer designed to distract you from your true calling, every glittering opportunity that would have derailed your destiny. He is clearing the clutter, removing the noise, and bringing you face to face with the purpose you were born to fulfill. Do not be deceived by what looks appealing on the surface. Trust the leading of the Spirit, even when it defies human logic. Your assignment is coming into focus tonight, and with it, the provision, the people, and the power to see it through. Spiritual warfare intensifies before major breakthrough because the enemy knows what is about to be released. The resistance you are feeling is not a sign that you are off track. It is confirmation that you are dangerously close to your promise. God's anger is dismantling every demonic assignment sent to stop you, breaking every curse spoken over your future, and exposing every scheme crafted in darkness. Stand firm, chosen one, knowing that greater is He who is in you than he who is in the world. The battle is real, but the victory is already secured. Your job is not to fight in fear, but to stand in faith, worshiping your way through the warfare until the walls come down. Isolation was part of the process, not punishment. God separated you to consecrate you, removing you from toxic environments and draining relationships so you could hear His voice clearly. In the loneliness, you discovered His sufficiency. In the silence, you found His presence. Now, as you emerge from the wilderness, you carry an anointing that can only be forged in solitude, an intimacy with God that cannot be shaken by crowds or diluted by compromise. Divine anger protected you during this season, keeping distractions at bay, and sealing you off from influences that would have corrupted your calling. Thank Him for the isolation. It was preparation, not rejection. The attacks you survived were not random. They were strategic attempts to abort your destiny before it fully manifested. The enemy saw what God placed inside you and panicked, mobilizing every weapon in his arsenal to take you out. But God's anger intervened, turning every attack into ammunition for your advancement. What was meant to kill you made you stronger. What was designed to break you built your character. What was intended to silence you amplified your voice. You are still standing, still believing, still moving forward, and that alone is a miracle worth celebrating. The fact that you are reading this right now is proof that hell did not win, and heaven is not finished with you. There is a tipping point in every chosen one's journey where faith becomes sight, where promise becomes reality, where waiting becomes receiving. You are at that tipping point tonight. The scales are about to tip in your favor, not because of anything you did to earn it, but because God said so. His anger against delay is releasing acceleration. His frustration with injustice is releasing favor. His intolerance for your suffering is releasing breakthrough. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the sudden shift that is coming. Things that took years to break are about to be restored in a moment. Doors that were locked for decades are about to swing open with ease. The tipping point is here. Your identity is not defined by what happened to you, but by who called you. The labels others placed on you, broken, damaged, unworthy, are being torn off tonight by the hand of God. He is renaming you, redefining you, and repositioning you according to His original design, not the world's distorted perception. Divine anger is erasing every false narrative, every lie you believed about yourself, every limitation you accepted as truth. You are not who they said you were. You are who God says you are, chosen, called, anointed, and destined for greatness. Let that truth sink deep into your spirit and reshape how you see yourself moving forward. The blessing God is about to release is not just for you. It is for the nations. Your story will reach people you will never meet. Your testimony will unlock chains you will never see. Your obedience will open doors for generations you will never know. God's anger against the smallness that tried to contain you is unleashing a global impact through your life. Do not shrink back from the magnitude of what He is calling you to do. Yes, it feels too big, too impossible, too overwhelming. But that is the point. When God does something through you that you could never do on your own, His name gets the glory and His kingdom advances. Step into the assignment even if you feel inadequate, because His strength is perfected in your weakness. Spiritual sensitivity is increasing. You are hearing things in the Spirit you never heard before, seeing things you never saw, discerning things you never discerned. This heightened awareness is not coincidence. It is preparation for the next level of your calling. God is sharpening your spiritual senses because the battles ahead require precision. The assignments coming demand clarity, and the decisions you will make carry eternal weight. Divine anger is removing the veil that kept you spiritually dull, awakening gifts that have been dormant, and activating a level of discernment that will protect you from deception. Pay attention to what you are sensing in your spirit. It is God giving you inside information for the journey ahead. The generational shift is here. What your parents could not accomplish, what your grandparents only dreamed about, what your ancestors prayed for in secret. You are the answer to those prayers. God's anger against generational bondage is breaking chains tonight that have held your family line captive for centuries. You are the breakthrough generation, the ones chosen to cross over into the promise, the ones anointed to walk in freedom and abundance. Do not take this lightly. You carry a weight of responsibility to steward this blessing well, to pass it on to the next generation, and to ensure that the cycle of defeat ends with you. You are the hinge upon which your family's destiny turns. Expect opposition from unexpected places. Not everyone will celebrate your breakthrough. Some will feel threatened by your elevation. Others will be jealous of your favor, and a few will actively work to undermine your progress. God's anger protects you from these saboteurs, exposing their true intentions before they can do real damage. Do not be surprised when friends become foes, or allies reveal themselves as enemies. This is part of the refining process. Surround yourself with people who genuinely celebrate you, who pray for you without prompting, who correct you in love, and encourage you without agenda. Your circle must match your calling, or it will sabotage your destiny. Humility and authority must coexist. You are being called into a position of influence, but that influence must be anchored in the character of Christ. Servant-hearted, grace-filled, and truth-centered. God's anger burns against pride, arrogance, and the misuse of power, so guard your heart as you ascend. Remember where you came from, how you got here, and who brought you through. Stay humble, stay teachable, stay dependent on God, even as doors open and platforms expand. The moment you forget your source is the moment you begin to decline. Walk in authority, yes, but always with the humility of one who knows that apart from Him, you can do nothing. Tonight marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The season of suffering is closing, and the season of reaping is opening wide. Do not carry the mentality of the wilderness into the promised land. Shake off the mindset of lack, limitation, and survival. You are entering a place of abundance, increase, and overflow, and you must adjust your thinking to match your new reality. God's anger is dismantling the poverty mindset that kept you small, the scarcity mentality that kept you fearful, and the victim identity that kept you powerless. You are transitioning from barely making it to more than enough, from struggling to thriving, from surviving to reigning. Step into this new season with expectation and gratitude. What you survived was not just an attack. It was a setup for your demonstration. God allowed certain situations to reveal His power through you, to show that no adversary can outlast His purpose. Every plot against your progress has now become the evidence for your vindication. Where you were once mocked, you will be openly honored. The divine anger that once seemed distant is now public declaration, shifting atmospheres and rewriting your outcome. Be vigilant for counterattacks as breakthrough approaches. The enemy grows desperate when outmatched, sending distractions and doubts to shake your foundation. Remain steadfast, rooted in truth, immune to whispers of fear. Stand on the affirmations God gave you in the secret place. Tonight, resolve in your spirit that no outside storm can uproot the confidence heaven has sealed within you. Sometimes old cycles attempt to resurface as you step into new territory. Memories of previous failures, echoes of past disappointments, and attempts to revisit trauma are all tactics to delay movement. Allow the anger of God to sever every unhealthy soul tie, every pattern of self-sabotage, every invisible shackle. Declare aloud that the past is not your master. The future is already written by the one who can redeem all things. Every promise God has made to you still stands. untouched by the passage of time or the shifting of circumstances. Not a single word has fallen to the ground or faded into oblivion. As you align with divine timing, acceleration will follow, and prophetic words long dormant will come alive again. Live in expectation, refusing to settle for anything less than the fulfillment spoken over your destiny. Do not let temporary trials dictate your permanent identity. The storms you endure refine, but do not define you. They reveal what can withstand fire. Trials create resilience and force you to outgrow comfortable, ordinary faith. In the flames, compromises are burned away, and authenticity shines through. See every challenge as confirmation that you are chosen for greater. Your authority is increasing as you pass the final tests. Spiritual maturity is forged when you refuse to abandon hope, even in contradiction. God's anger clears away every counterfeit solution, so your trust rests solely in Him. When all options are exhausted but faith remains, the supernatural unfolds. You will witness unmistakable signs that only God could orchestrate. When confusion tries to settle, recall the visions and confirmations that guided you until now. The presence of divine anger displaces the fog, creating clarity, vision, and new strategies. Do not let emotional fatigue make you misinterpret silence as apathy. It is often the seal before a divine verdict. Rest in the assurance that nothing escapes the attention of your defender. Seasons of acceleration restore lost years and compound your influence. What would have taken a lifetime to build will materialize quickly, defying logic and expectation. Divine anger is collapsing strongholds and shaving time from years of delay. This isn't merely about your advancement, but about redeeming the time for everyone connected to your purpose. The mercy of God always precedes the manifestation of His justice. Even as He arises to defend you, He extends chances for transformation to those who opposed you. Your breakthrough does not require the downfall of another. Rejoice in redemption stories as much as vindication, recognizing that ultimate victory is when cycles of harm end and all parties are set free. Every night you wept, heaven counted. Every accusation that stung your heart, God noted. Now, a great reversal is underway, a movement that will return what was stolen, restore what was lost, and promote you despite resistance. The anger of God is not unpredictable wrath, but meticulous commitment to restore balance and testify that He is faithful. You will be surprised at the people God uses to bless you. Sometimes former enemies become your helpers, and unexpected favor arrives through unlikely hands. Divine anger has a way of transforming hearts and opening doors that seemed utterly closed. Remain open, discerning, but never cynical about how God chooses to orchestrate your miracle. Strengthen your prayer life in this season. Deep calls to deep, and your spirit needs fresh oil for new battles and higher assignments. Communion with God sharpens your hearing, renews your sensitivity, and anchors joy regardless of circumstances. The anger of God will advance you, but intimacy will sustain you at the next level. Be generous in the overflow. The blessing coming is not only for your provision, but to bless and heal others. Pour out from the abundance, mentor, encourage, support. Be the vessel through which heaven's anger against lack and suffering is expressed as generosity and kindness. You are blessed to be a blessing, and your cup will not run dry. Receive this truth. Tonight, your journey enters a new chapter. Divine anger is not destruction, but a course correction with love at its core. Your path is protected, your name cleared, your influence enlarged. walk forward with holy boldness. You are chosen, set apart, and the best that God has for you is being revealed now. The spiritual realm is preparing a testimony through your life that will be undeniable proof of divine intervention. When others see what God is about to do for you, their faith will be strengthened, and their hearts will turn toward heaven. You are not just receiving breakthrough for yourself, you are carrying evidence that God still moves on behalf of His people. Divine anger clears the stage, so the spotlight can focus entirely on His glory, manifesting through your story. Prepare to be a living testimony that will inspire a generation to trust Him again. Wisdom is being deposited into your spirit for the decisions ahead. New opportunities require new levels of discernment, and God is equipping you to navigate uncharted territory with confidence and clarity. The anger of heaven against confusion is releasing sharp insight, supernatural strategy, and the ability to recognize deception from a distance. Trust the inner knowing that comes from His Spirit dwelling within you. It will guide you through complex situations and position you for success. Walk in the wisdom He is imparting, and every door you enter will lead to advancement. Celebrate the small victories along the way. Every step forward, every moment of clarity, every sign of favor is evidence that heaven is moving on your behalf. Divine anger is not waiting for the perfect moment to act. It is already acting in subtle and profound ways. Notice the shifts, acknowledge the breakthroughs, and give thanks even before the full manifestation arrives. Gratitude accelerates blessing and positions your heart to receive even more than you expected. Do not overlook the daily miracles happening in your life right now. Your voice is being amplified for this season. What you speak will carry weight. What you declare will shift atmospheres, and what you prophesy will come to pass with unusual accuracy. God's anger against the silence imposed on you is releasing an anointing of boldness. Speak truth without fear, proclaim freedom without hesitation, and declare victory without apology. Your words are weapons in the spirit realm, tearing down strongholds and building up the brokenhearted. Use your voice with intention, knowing that heaven backs every word, spoken in alignment with His will. There is a convergence happening where natural and supernatural meet. What seemed impossible in the natural is being overridden by divine intervention in the supernatural. Laws of limitation are being suspended, and the impossible is becoming inevitable. God's anger against the barriers erected around your destiny is collapsing them, one by one, until nothing stands between you and the promise. Watch for signs that defy explanation. Provision appearing out of nowhere. Doors opening without effort. Connections forming without pursuit. The convergence is here, and miracles are your new normal. Do not apologize for outgrowing spaces that once held you. As you ascend, certain environments, relationships, and mindsets will no longer fit who you are becoming. Divine anger is creating holy dissatisfaction, making you uncomfortable in places where you used to settle, pushing you toward alignment with your true calling. Let go without guilt, release without regret, and move forward without looking back. The discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is promotion pulling you upward into spaces where you truly belong. Your faith is being refined in this season, stripped of performance and religious obligation, returning to its purest form. Trust. God's anger burns against anything that complicated your relationship with Him, anything that made you feel you had to earn His love or prove your worth. He is restoring childlike faith, where you simply believe because He said it, where you rest because He promised, where you rejoice because He is faithful. Let go of striving and step into the simplicity of trust. It is in that place that miracles flow effortlessly. There is a new sound in your spirit, a song of victory that rises even before the battle ends. Divine anger is shifting your perspective from fighting for survival to celebrating from a place of assured triumph. You are no longer begging for breakthrough. You are declaring it as already done. The shift from petition to proclamation is evidence that your faith has matured and your understanding of spiritual authority has deepened. Sing the victory song, even in the midst of the storm, and watch the walls come down. Chosen one, tonight is not just another night. It is a divine appointment, a marked moment in your timeline where heaven intervenes in undeniable ways. The anger of God is your shield, your defense, your advocate, and your deliverer. What was spoken against you in darkness is being exposed in the light. What was stolen is being restored with interest. And what was broken is being rebuilt stronger than before. Stand in awe of what is unfolding and give Him all the glory for the miracle taking place right now in your life. Expect sudden open doors that require immediate action. Divine anger is accelerating your timeline, and opportunities will present themselves quickly, demanding swift obedience. Do not hesitate, do not second-guess, and do not wait for perfect conditions. When God opens the door, walk through it with confidence. The fear of the unknown will try to paralyze you, but the Spirit within you will embolden you to step forward anyway. Trust that if God is leading, He has already prepared the way, and provision will meet you on the other side. Your legacy is being written in real time. Every decision you make, every hardship you endure, every act of faith you demonstrate is etching a story that will outlive you. God's anger against mediocrity and complacency is pushing you toward excellence, impact, and lasting influence. Do not settle for a life that barely makes a ripple. You were created to make waves, to shift cultures, to transform communities, and to leave a mark that points others to Him. Live with intentionality, knowing that your life is a message to the world. This is your moment to rise. The anger of God has cleared the path, removed the obstacles, and positioned you for manifestation. Everything you have endured was preparation for this exact season. And every tear you cried was a seed planted for the harvest you are about to reap. Step into your calling with boldness. Walk in your authority with confidence, and embrace your destiny with gratitude. The best is not behind you. It is unfolding before you, and heaven is cheering you on as you take your place among the extraordinary. Forgiveness is the final key that unlocks the fullness of your blessing. Release the pain, let go of the grudges, and free yourself from the weight of bitterness. God's anger handles your enemies. Your job is to walk in peace and joy, unhindered by the past. When you forgive, you do not excuse the offense. You release yourself from the prison of resentment. Choose freedom today, and watch how quickly the blessing flows when nothing is blocking the channel between you and heaven. The sound you hear is the sound of chains breaking, doors opening, and destinies shifting. Divine anger is moving tonight with precision and power, and you are the recipient of His fierce love and unwavering commitment. Chosen one, you are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and you are not defeated. You are chosen, you are victorious, and you are about to witness the faithfulness of a God who fights for those He loves. Receive this word, stand in this truth, and walk into the future with unshakable confidence. There is a mantle being laid upon your shoulders tonight. weighty, majestic, and tailor-made for your assignment. This mantle is evidence that God trusts you with influence, authority, and legacy far beyond what you have experienced until now. Walk unapologetically in this new dimension, knowing that the heavenly anger that shook the foundations was always about making room for your rising. Your anointing will speak when words fall short, and your presence will shift the very atmosphere of every room you enter. Do not hide what God is highlighting. You have been stored in secrecy for such a time as this, but now you are being released as a sign to your generation. Embrace the mantle and move boldly, for your time is now. Your name is being whispered in rooms you have never entered and spoken by mouths that once mocked you. Divine anger has disarmed accusers and rewritten their verdicts, transforming curses into commendations. As doors open, remember, every opportunity is also an assignment, every breakthrough a burden to steward with humility. Those who attempted to erase you will witness your elevation, yet you remain compassionate and wise, reflecting the character of your defender. Be gracious, never vindictive. Your example is the proof God uses to silence opposition forever. Stand with integrity, for your victory must inspire transformation, not rivalry. The angels assigned to your destiny are working overtime to clear obstacles, facilitate connections, and protect you from sabotage. Expect divine surprises, resources suddenly made available, favor extended from unexpected sources, protection that seems both miraculous and routine. Recognize the orchestration of heaven in every detail, trusting that unseen hands are orchestrating what no human plan could achieve. God's anger has commissioned these messengers not merely to defend, but to deliver. Not just to survive, but to thrive. Honor their presence through gratitude and collaboration, and watch your story become a showcase for God's glory. There is a fire in your spirit that cannot be quenched, a holy intensity fueled by heaven's zeal to see you fulfill your calling entirely. This fire is refining, burning away old limitations while sparking ideas, courage, and boldness for your next season. You will feel compelled to act where you once hesitated and to speak when silence would be easier. This urge is not recklessness, it is divine urgency, a sign that the time for hiding is over. The world needs your voice, your wisdom, your story, and your touch, not in fragments, but in fullness. Lean into the fire, let it consume fear, and transform you into everything God designed. Your journey will spark hope in others who thought surrender was their only option. Transparent about your struggles, resilient in adversity, and unwavering in purpose, you become a lighthouse to those navigating similar storms. God's anger against your shame is being transformed into testimony for the discouraged, permission for the silenced, and healing for the broken. Your honesty is your strength. Your scars are your compass. Let your life preach the message that survival is possible, but victory is promised. This favor is generational. What begins with you will overflow to your children and your children's children, rewriting family stories and establishing new patterns of blessing. Just as God's anger broke generational curses, His kindness is now making generational covenants. Teach those who come after you about why you believed, how you persevered, and what God did to turn anger into advocacy. Build altars of remembrance, tell your story often, and set a spiritual standard for your lineage. Your legacy will not be struggle, but supernatural abundance. Intercede for others, even as you celebrate your own breakthrough. There are many chosen who remain in the dark, waiting for the same deliverance you now experience. As you receive, pray for their awakening, breakthrough, and protection. God's anger is not only for individuals, it is for communities, movements, and nations. Stand in the gap for those still in battle, so your victory multiplies into collective transformation. The light that has come to you is meant to spark revival everywhere you go. Be a conduit of awakening. Your morning is breaking, and the old night cannot hold you any longer. Whatever the enemy tried in secret is being dismantled in public, and the vindication you receive will be seen by many. Walk into this dawn with your head high, heart open, and armor on. God's anger has cleared away the debris, and His love now bathes you in new light. Let others see your countenance and wonder at your peace. Every day from now on carries a promise. If God is for you, who can stand against you? Now breathe and let gratitude fill you. Remember, everything you've come through was preparation, not punishment. Every lesson has built resilience, every loss has made space for gain, and every dark valley leads to greener pastures. Begin to thank God aloud, blessing Him for the anger that fought for you and for the love that receives you utterly. There is no going back, only advancement from glory to glory. You are permitted to laugh again, to dream again, to risk again, without fear of another heartbreak or the repetition of old defeats. God's anger against what tried to steal your joy now protects the fresh start being given. Live fully, holding nothing back from the beauty and potential of this blessing. Take new chances, build new memories, honor the miracle by living abundantly. Your ultimate act of faith is to embrace joy completely. Miracles are multiplying in your direction. Testimonies will follow you, but so will new responsibilities. Tend the blessing with excellence, whether big or small, public or private. Steward what you have with integrity and gratitude, knowing that abundance attracts greater assignment. Divine anger breaks what obstructs, but divine wisdom ensures that blessings endure. Seek both for a legacy that nothing can overturn. If this message has awakened something within you, if you feel the fire igniting in your spirit, click the like button and subscribe to Being Extraordinary. Leave the word victorious in the comments to seal this moment and affirm to the universe that you are fully living your calling. And for those who are ready to walk the path of spiritual and financial prosperity, don't forget to get your ebook of The Call to Prosperity. It offers 10 spiritual and practical steps to align your spirit, finances, and purpose with divine order. It's not just information, it's activation. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. I also thank every supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. If you feel blessed and want to support us too, the link is there. Thank you for being with us. Now, walk forth, knowing you bear the seal of prophecy upon your life. What was set in motion tonight is irreversible. The heavens have spoken on your behalf, and the earth will witness this transformation. Remain steadfast and generous with your light.